So recently, you may have seen a very interesting article go up on Sports Illustrated where they were like, hey, we know the brand new WrestleMania card. Everybody was like, wait a minute, how can this be the WrestleMania card? Doesn't make any sense. Now, it's important to know after the fact they did come out and apologize because apparently they had some erroneous sources. I'll make sure I link to this somewhere in the video so you can read it yourself. But what it did to my brain is when I first saw this, I was like, okay, well, it is a little bit crazy and a little bit 2 + 2 = potato. But if all of a sudden WWE did head in this direction, I don't think anybody would be massively surprised in the sense that what they've done here is stack the deck to the point you can kind of pick whatever the hell you want, and in some ways, some fans would love it. So obviously, as of right now, if somebody burst in here and put a gun to my head, I'd be like, listen, bro, there's no need to do this. I make videos about wrestling, we can just talk. But most people are expecting it to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and maybe Cody Rhodes in there, and of course, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. But all of a sudden, we did get these other details, where it was going to be CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, and Triple H was saying, oh, we're not going to finish Cody's story at WrestleMania 40. And it was going to be Gunther versus Seth Rollins. Now, as it probably turned out, I would imagine that because they had done that angle on Raw a couple of days ago where Gunther did get in Seth's face, whoever decided to leak this information, I guess as some kind of cleansing exercise really, to see who were actually talking about this stuff, you could put 2 and 2 together and make 4, and this time not potato. But even though at the time I did do a little bit of an eyebrow raise to it, when I actually thought about the whole thing, and I was like, well, yes, you actually could do this right now because WWE has planted these seeds. Now, look, as I am recording this video, we're a couple of days before the Royal Rumble, and that's the main reason I think that they've done this, because I can only presume they want you to be massively confused about who's going to come out the winner. We've done other videos about this. It could be Gunther. Now, a few people may be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it was Cody, and other people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it was CM Punk. I don't think anybody would throw their toys out of the pram, whatever the damn phrase is, and be like, oh, I can't believe Gunther won. Gunther has been presented as a threat now for the last year. Gunther is the Intercontinental Champion, and if you did want to turn him into a mega end-of-level boss, yeah, he wins the Rumble, he's still the Intercontinental Champion, maybe he goes on to WrestleMania, and he beats Seth Rollins. Now, the only reason people would get annoyed about that is if CM Punk took on, I don't know, Tozawa. Now, that's no disrespect to Tozawa, but people want one of these mega matches with CM Punk. But given everything, once again, we did do on Raw, if all of a sudden you did pivot to CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, everyone would be like, oh, okay, we're not getting CM Punk versus Seth Rollins right now, which I did want, but I also wanted CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. You know what? I also wanted CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, so you could plug him in there as well. Now, that wasn't part of the article, but you take my point. So forget about what we are going to get and what we're not going to get. Again, I don't think any of that is going to true, and I think we're going to get the stuff that we've all predicted to begin with. It is a massive feather in WWE's cap that they have been able to sit down and create a world that actually feels like a living ecosystem. Now, that's the worst thing I've ever said, and you should comment saying, Simon, you're a massive idiot. But it's true. Even if you go back 4 or 5 years, the biggest criticism, I would say, and there are a lot of criticisms, but one of the big ones is WWE doesn't create stars. When we got to the Royal Rumble, a lot of them were so damn boring, and there weren't enough surprises to make up for this because you just knew who was going to win, because there's only like 2 people maximum that would actually be able to justify winning a Royal Rumble. Now, look, I'm always a big advocate for just picking somebody random, like a Tozawa, and giving it to them, because we've had so many Royal Rumbles, and we've never done it. But now you do have this amazing environment where, for example, if Seth Rollins' injury doesn't heal, it would be awful for him, and it would suck, and I personally would be hugely disappointed, because he definitely deserves that opportunity. But there are other guys that can step in, and it still feels like a mega match. And that is what I massively took out of this article. I was like, holy crap, we have come so far in the last few years, and it's exactly what you want all wrestling companies to be. Of course, you need somebody who is on the tippity top, which in this generation, I suppose, is Roman Reigns. But even if you go back to like a Stone Cold Steve Austin and sometimes John Cena, or that's like a 50-50 situation, you had all these people chomping at those people's toes. And not only that, WWE made you want them to win. They made you want them to take over the face of the company banner, whatever you want to call it, which is another reason why CM Punk got so pissed off 10 or so years ago, right? Because he thought he moved himself into that position. Then WWE got into this awful habit of, oh, sure, we'll give you the World Championship, but you're still going to be in semi-main events. You're still going to be opening the show, whereas Cena would close the thing. And that just told everyone, well, you know, we do see them as like an upper star, but they're not a tippity top star, so automatically you stop caring. I talk about this on Ups and Downs all the time. Again, What Culture Wrestling. Make sure you check them out. But if you know the people pulling the strings don't give a damn, why would you give a damn? Like, it has to start at the core of the product, and that means coming up with storylines and superstars that you can actually give a damn about. And right now, in January 2024, it could be, I mean, maybe I'm being being a bit hyperbolic here, but it could be the best it's ever been, because watch this. Any of these people, as far as I'm concerned, could main event WrestleMania on night 1 or night 2, and I'd be totally fine with it. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, The Rock, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens literally did it last year. You probably don't have the time, but if you wanted to heat up Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso, which I think they're going to do, I think they're in a great position to do that, especially Jey. He's flying. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Bianca Belair, maybe a returning Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné, Jade Cargill. I mean, that one's pushing it a little bit, but that's clearly where they want her to be. I mean, even Trish Stratus could return, and maybe you could sell me on that after everything she has done last year and what she did 20 or so years ago. So that is an amazing array of talent, and there's probably some that I've forgotten about too, who can just slip into that position and nobody is going to blink an eye. And I think that is absolutely fantastic, and that's why I think this Royal Rumble on paper could be one of the best Royal Rumbles of all time. I have to imagine that the plan has been in place for a while, because that seems to be a Triple H thing. Once again, gun to my head, I think CM Punk will win the men's Royal Rumble, and I think Bayley will win the women's. And I think it's mostly because these stories are the easiest ones to tell, and I often find the Royal Rumble winner doing that on the way to WrestleMania sort of gets the most reaction and gets the most traction. So of course CM Punk wins and he goes, ha, Seth Rollins, you told me that you weren't going to give me an opportunity, well now I've earned one. And Bayley can obviously win it, pretend she's going to go after Rhea Ripley, then Damage Control screws her over, she goes after Io Sky, and look, that's not going to main event either night. It would be cool if it was going to, but it's not going to. But Bayley going back babyface for the first time in years, and hopefully challenging for and winning that championship, because she's never had a WrestleMania moment, is going to make you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum, with the ultimate fuzziness coming if Sasha Banks did return to help out her bestest buddy. But my gut tells me that she's probably going to AEW, and as we talked about on a video last week or so, I don't mind where she goes. As long as she's happy, as long as she's over her injury, and she can get back to doing what her love, that is totally fine with me. The cool thing about this as well is that when you are in the Rumble, you're going to be going left, right, up, down, sideways. You're not going to know what's going on, and there's going to be one surprise elimination, maybe even a Cody Rhodes if he's not destined to win it. They'll have to put him down to the final 2, where he will hit the floor, and it'll be like Shawn Michaels in 2010 or 9, wherever he did that storyline, was like, I have to win this to take on The Undertaker, and then Batista eliminated him, and the way he sold it and the reaction of the fans, oh my gosh, it'll be totally wonderful as long as we do have a plan for him, because I really do want Cody to finish the story at WrestleMania 40. But that's going to make the Royal Rumble full electric in both the men's and women's. We've also got like 20 spots on either side for surprises, and you could be getting, like I say, a Jade Cargill, an AJ Lee maybe, a Rock, we just don't know. So that's going to get your adrenaline going, and then when we get to WrestleMania, all of these people have to be on the show. I don't actually know how they're going to fit it even over 2 nights, but it means even though you do have a main event, which is the coveted spot, be it match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, you are going to have stories that you care about, you're going to have feuds that you care about, and you're going to have characters that you care about, both in terms of kayfabe and real life. Look at Drew McIntyre. It seems awfully true that his deal is up post-WrestleMania, meaning if he wanted to, the next day he could go wherever he wanted. Is he going to re-sign? Is he not going to re-sign? If he is in a match with someone like Sami Zayn and he loses, does that mean he's going? If he wins, does that mean he's actually staying with the company? There are so many things you can get into, and look, I much prefer focusing on the in front of camera stuff most of the time, but the behind the camera stuff still gets you too. But it doesn't matter. You're allowed to pick whichever lane that you want, and right now, both sides of it are offering something for everyone, and it's why I think that WWE is flying as hard as they are, and why they got this Netflix deal. I know now people are going, oh, the number isn't that good. They're on Netflix, man. And I think if I had told you that WWE's entire content, mostly, again, the US stuff we've talked about, was going to be on Netflix, the biggest streaming platform in the world, people would raise an eyebrow like, how the flub is that going to happen? But they've done it, and they've absolutely established themselves. I wouldn't even say as the #1 brand in wrestling. They're just so far away. They just are. I mean, they've Googled themselves to some people I know. I've told you this before. My mum doesn't call it WWE, or the other way around. My mum doesn't call it wrestling. She calls it WWE. Are you watching that WWE stuff? So even if she came round and I was watching AEW, it would still be WWE stuff. And yes, because I'm a nerd, that does irk me. But sometimes you just got to go with it. So once again, all of that article was baloney, and it goes to show, always take what you read on the internet with a pinch of salt, and take what I would say with a pinch of salt as well. Sometimes I'm speculating, and that's all it is. It was a great reminder that WWE has moved itself into a position where they now have to stay, because this was once the case, and all of a sudden it didn't happen anymore. We have to build people, and everybody should always feel like they could beat everybody else. Like, I think that's the problem with Roman Reigns matches at the moment. Personally, I don't mind them. I like that it's gone totally out of control. Every time you sit down for a wrestling match, again, being at the opening match or the main event, you want to believe that the opponent can win, otherwise you can't emotionally invest. It's why that Sami Zayn Roman Reigns match at the Elimination Chamber of all events did so well, because people just loved Sami so much, they were like, man, I don't care, I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and I am going to believe. And that is the wrestling secret sauce and also why Roman should absolutely lose it at WrestleMania 40. Because I think as we go into our new season, as WWE likes to say, even if Cody is the champ, you want to make sure there's plenty of challengers there that just make you raise an eyebrow a little bit. And look, I'm telling you this, if Gunther doesn't win the Royal Rumble, and he doesn't have a main event at WrestleMania, which again, I don't think he's going to, he could absolutely be Cody's first challenger, because all of a sudden it gets my brain going absolutely crazy, because you'd be like, well, Cody can't lose it this soon. That would be nuts. The other side's like, well, you don't want Gunther to go for the World Championship and not win. So if they can come up with an amazing story there, you're going to buy me in post-WrestleMania. Once again, there was a time where post-WrestleMania, WWE would go through a little bit of a lull. Didn't really happen last year, and I don't think it's going to happen this year, given everything that we've just talked about. So basically, this was a bit of a hoorah-rah for everything that they have done. And, you know, if you are watching the Royal Rumble this weekend, let me know when it does go down. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Not even that, not even you enjoyed it or not, but did you feel like you were more, like I say, invested than you have been, especially from a couple of years ago, which wasn't very good, because you just didn't know which way it was going to go. And that should be the Royal Rumble's magic at all times. You sit there for an hour plus, and by the end of it, you're like, holy crap, did that take me on a wild ride? And personally, I totally believe that it will, but I am still going to go with CM Punk and Bayley. But it's about how you get there, man. Destination don't matter. It's the journey. Now, of course, like I say, please do leave a comment below and let me know what you think about all of this. And did you believe that article? Doesn't matter. There's no reason why you wouldn't do. And did it get you excited? Maybe you preferred that card. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the bell, ding, ding, notification crew. Click the video on the screen. Otherwise, it's grillermind.com/Simon. These are fitness supplements I use. I like lifting weights. I shouldn't have flexed my arm. That was ridiculous. Patreon.com/Simon316. Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter and X, whatever we're calling it. Simon Miller on TikTok. Simon J. Miller, my middle name. Simon Miller on Cameo and merchandise, pro wrestling tees on Samson Athletics. They're getting updated all of the time, but otherwise, like I say, we have a couple of days to go. So enjoy SmackDown first and foremost. Who knows what they're going to do on there? Enjoy the Royal Rumble, and then we'll ups and downs on Sunday. And then when we get to the channel next week, we can talk about all of the fallout. Take care, my friends. Enjoy wrestling. It makes it a lot easier. Goodbye.